Want to make great tasting, nutritious plant-based food? Fast, easy, low cost, low energy, with very little cleanup? Then let's get to it. Hello, quesadillas. Who doesn't love quesadillas? This is like, there's so many ways to make this dish. It's just crazy what you can put in, and it all seems to come out fantastic. It's just one of those kind of things, like pizza. It's kind of the same thing. Pizza with a top on it. You know what I mean? So, in fact, I've used these tortillas for pizzas before, so it's right along that same line. So what I've got is going to be some pre-mix of tofu. So I've got a single serving. This is extra firm. It's the only one I ever use. And I eat it all the time. It's just fantastic, and I make all kinds of things with it. So I'm going to crumble that up in here, and then I'm going to put all these flavorings and stuff on it. And then I'm going to bake that for about 10 minutes. And while that's baking, I'm going to make a very special sort of something that goes on top that you eat with it. Now you can either put it in a separate dish and scoop into it and eat it and that kind of stuff. But I'm going to cook that up right within the 10 minutes that's in the oven. So I've got salsa, green salsa verde. I got fresh garlic just chopped. I've got a teaspoon of canola oil, and that's going to make some of the edges a little crispy and nice. Just going to really make the tofu really, really good. And I put that, when I break this up, you'll see I stick that on first and mix all that in, and then I put all the other stuff on. So it directly is connected to the tofu and not through sauces and stuff, which it's going to get a little of that anyway, but this way some of it will get in there, and it kind of makes the edges of the tofu a little crispy in places and stuff like that. And I just like it. And again, all my recipes, all this stuff that I make is completely modifiable. Just do whatever you want, but I'm just giving you ideas. So I've got 2 slices of Kraft Notco cheddar cheese. I love this stuff on everything. It's fantastic. It's really great. I'm using 2 slices. Normally is a 1 slice per serving, but again, that all depends on your body size and all that stuff and everything else. I'm using 2 slices. So I've got the 2 flour tortillas. One goes on top, one on the bottom. And these are sort of like a medium-sized flour tortilla. You can, obviously get the big ones, make them as big as you want. Doesn't make any difference. Just expand this recipe out if you like it. So I've got some mushrooms. I've got some green onions. I've got some cilantro. The green onion cilantro from my own garden, indoor garden. I don't know if I'm going to use all these mushrooms or not. We'll see how everything comes together and how much is stuffed in there. So maybe 1.5 mushrooms or 2, but I don't think I'll use all 3. Then I've got this sweet chili. That's going in this as well. And then a few little extra stuff in here will go into something I'm going to make afterward. While this is in the oven, actually, I'm going to make it. So let's get started. So first thing I'm going to do is just break up this tofu. Just all you do is pinch it up and break it up. That's it. Not too fine. I like it just a little bit chunky, as you can see. And I've done this before. If you've ever watched a couple of my recipes where I use this style. I use a lot of smoked tofu as well, which I really love. I was thinking about putting that in here, but maybe I'll save that for a different quesadillas. I use it on so many things. So there it is. I like it just chunky like that. I don't want it too thin, because then it just like gets to be mush and everything with all the other stuff in it, which is not good. So first thing I'm going to do is just drizzle this teaspoon of canola oil over the top of this, and then I'm going to stir this up. So let's just get this all, a little bit of oil in it and around it. So it's somewhat similar to using a animal-based protein, that has its own fat and stuff in it. So I think here with the tofu, that little bit of fat is not a big deal. Plus, we're going to have the fat from the cheese, obviously, because it's got oil in it as well. All these cheeses are made with some sort of oil. But this is the best. And I have review up on my channel that you can review the Kraft Notco. I still think it's the best tasting, closest to cheese. And that's because it was a joint venture between Notco and Kraft. So that's mixed together. So I'm not going to use all this garlic because I could because I love garlic, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use just enough in here. That's good right there. And that's going to be mixed in. So I'm going to put some salsa verde in here, green. And that's good right there. Okay, I'm going to put the sweet chili in. This stuff's pretty strong for me. Now, maybe you may just want to drink it. It's really good. but it also, I don't have a strong palate for spicy, but I do like this. And I just put so little in. The flavor comes through so easily for me that I don't need a lot. So I'm probably just going to use I'd say about a teaspoon, and that's it for me. So I've got the actual garlic in there. I'm going to put just a little bit of onion powder in here, not much, because I've got some green onions going in here as well. I'm going to put a little black pepper because it's a different flavor, but not a lot. You can put whatever you like in here. Okay, it doesn't need any large amount of salt. Has some sodium in it, and the cheese has some sodium in it. That's all going to be in there as well. But I'm putting a little bit in here, not much, maybe a 1/100 of a teaspoon, something very small. Okay, and then stir all this up. It's just looking beautiful. Look at that. This is just going to be. Oh, it smells great. If your pieces are a little big, you just fork them a little bit there and get them smaller. But make sure you get this completely coated. You want everything nice and coated in here. And then flatten it out so it all cooks evenly. And again, this is all plant-based stuff. So cooking, I mean, you could eat this right now. You don't have to cook it. But the heat infuses all these great flavors into the pieces of tofu. And that's really why you're heating it up. And you want the meal hot. So, that's the other reason. But yeah, it's I smoke and grill tofu all the time. It takes on a completely different texture than if you were to eat it without doing that, grilling it and smoking it. But that's my favorite way to eat tofu. But I also love this as well. So you can see that it's ready to go in. So I'm going to stick this in the toaster oven. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make the stuff that's going on the top. And I'll tell you what that is. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've got that in the oven. And now we're going to make... Traditional is some sour cream on top with maybe something else in it, whatever. So I've got some plant-based sour cream, but I'm going to do a mixture, and I love this. I do this with a lot of different things. I love doing this with hummus. I take avocado and hummus together, 50-50 mix, and it's on my killer taquitos. It's just so good. Something about the oily creaminess of the avocado and the hummus and all that works together. Now, I have tried it on a couple of different ones of these. Sometimes they're not all that successful, but we're going to try it here on this. So I'm making a single serving of this. So I'm going to use basically 1/3 of this avocado. For me, that's about a single serving. Might be a little less now since we have a little bit of a bad little corner, but that's okay. It's not much. Get that out of there. Oh, good. Wasn't that deep in. Avocados, they're always going to have some black mark in them. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this in here. Yeah, it's a nice ripe one, which is good. Great. Okay. And now I'm going to get the sour cream. So I'm going to basically do an even 50-50 here. Just like that. Okay, so what I'm going to use for this is just a little tiny bit of garlic powder. Just like that. Very good. A little tiny bit of black pepper. That's it. I'm not going to put any salt in this. You can if you like. I'm going to put some green onions in it. So it has a sort of a bit of a flavor of its own. Not a lot, because these green onions are also going to go into the quesadillas when it goes back in the oven. And I do that, I don't put them in on the first round of the tofu in the oven because I don't want them that cooked. I want them less cooked, so I don't want to cook them twice when it goes back inside the tortilla. I like them a little bit fresh. Now you can cook them in with that tofu the way I did it, but I just like them brighter and better. That's just me. Okay, so I'm gonna put these in here. Just like that, beautiful. Oh yes, get them all in there. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of cilantro in here. So this stuff takes on a bit of a flavor of its own as well. And then the rest of the cilantro, like I say, will be inside when the thing is baked in the oven for 10 minutes afterward. And that's it. That's all that goes in here. Now what you do is just mash all this avocado down, stir in your sour cream, and you want to make this like a creamy dip. That's what this is going to be. Now all these plant-based sour creams and cheeses and all that stuff are all slightly different. That's just the way it is. I mean, everybody has their sort of own recipe. And like I say, I've had some okay ones and some not okay ones. So, so you can see that. You can see it overhead as well. Let's give it a taste. Good, very good. It doesn't really taste like sour cream, but it's a good mixed dip. I'm going to put a little salt in it because it is a little flat, to be honest with you. And let's see if that just brightens it up a little bit. When I do this with the hummus, remember the hummus has got all kinds of flavors in it, garlic and salt and lemon and everything else, and it's just you know, when you mix it with the avocado, it's just crazy good. I mean, oh, much better. That's great. Yeah, I need a little bit of salt, maybe just a hair more too. And again, you don't have to make this. You can try. I've made the quesadillas using the hummus and avocado. Now it's good. That's what it needed. It's a little flat and bland without it. That's really good now. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Okay, so I'm going to check on this and see how it looks, and I'll be back. I got it out. It's just beautiful. Just smells fantastic. It's just, I think it was maybe 6 minutes. That's all it was. And I did it preheat the oven to 450. I put this in there on my pizza stone on the lowest level, and that's what I make quesadillas with. And you can see how that looks. It's got nice, it's browned up a little bit on the edges. The garlic cooked in. This is beautiful. Oh, what a great, oh, this is just going to be fantastic. Okay, so we want to get this onto our tortillas in the middle, of course. And this is going to moisten up the tortilla really nice as well. It'll steam up the top one and the bottom one because there's a lot of moisture in tofu, even though it's the extra firm, which has probably the least amount of moisture. And I like to get this close to the edge as possible so you don't have this like just tortilla on your edges. Just like you would with a pizza. It's really the same process. It's very, very close. Now with pizzas, you do more of the cooking altogether because the pizza dough is normally uncooked, but I use a lot of cooked pizza dough. So, and I've used these tortillas which are cooked. That way I don't have to make pizza dough, which is not my favorite thing to do. I don't like rolling things out. It's a lot of work, and I am the chef that doesn't like a lot of work. Because the less work, that means the less energy I expend. Okay, look at that. That's just beautiful. Let's move this out of the way. That over there. So you can see what that looks like. Okay, now I'm going to sort of chop this cheese up. As I get the wrapper off the back. Again, I've got 2 slices here. And then I'm going to lay this in there. And this really doesn't matter what you do here, because it's not going to, you're just, it's all going to melt in there. So you can make these just any kind of chunky pieces you want. And just make sure everything is covered. Okay, we're just going to put that stuff in there that way. But as soon as I do my green onions, and my cilantro and my mushrooms. So, or mushroom, let's see how far that goes. Okay, so I like this, my favorite food processor. I like lots of onion in everything, and garlic. Onion and garlic, green onion and garlic are just my 2 favorite things. I could put it on anything. I could put it on an old shoe and eat it. It doesn't really matter. Old pair of gloves, I'll eat those as long as it has plenty of onion and garlic on them. Okay, so we're gonna get this all chopped up. This is one of the most efficient tools you can ever have in your kitchen. It's a very good piece of kitchen hardware. Get a really good pair, and look at how beautiful that chops that up. And the cilantro, I'm just gonna do a little bits of this here, all the way around. Now, I've used knives. I've had over my cooking career. I'm a classically trained chef, so believe me, I've used a lot of knives, and I've given a lot away because I just don't cook that way anymore. And that's just because my whole diet has changed from meat and eggs and dairy many decades ago to. So look at, just sprinkle that over the whole top of this. Oh, this is just going to be fantastic. I could just smell this. Oh, it's a shame you can't smell it, because it is just beautiful. Oh, look at that. Okay, let's get some mushroom going. Now I'm going to slice these fairly thin. Not a good thing to do with the scissors. This is where a knife takes precedent. Just going to spread these around. I love mushrooms of any kind, anywhere. So the one's going to be enough. That'll be plenty. No issues there. Got plenty of mushroom. We'll save those for later. Something else. Okay, so let's get the cheese on. And I'm just going to randomly put these pieces all around. Almost look kind of like a mosaic in a sense. But it'll all melt together inside there. And again, you want to get this all the way out to the edges as best as possible. So every bite has some of all the flavor in. You don't want a big clump in one and not in another. Now you could have done it finer and kind of sprinkled it around, but cheese has a tendency to be a bit sticky and unruly when you're using it like this. So that's good enough for me. Let's put the lid on it, just like that. Beautiful. Oh, and let's get a way to get it off of the paper. Would be helpful. Okay. Again, I'm just putting this right on my pizza stone in there. I may flip it over after about 5-6 minutes. So I'm going to get this into the toaster oven, and I'll be back when it comes out. So I'll be back. Okay, it's out. Now, I did put it on a plate and cut it into 4s because I'm going to take a bite of it. But it just smells fantastic. This is just, wow. I can't wait to taste this. Okay, so I'm going to put some of the green sauce on it too as I take a bite of it. But look how beautiful that is. Oh, man. Oh, okay, so. And this stuff really turned out fantastic. With that little bit of salt in it, made a huge difference. Okay, here it goes. Wow. Sorry. I'm just smiling because this is just amazing. It turned out so good. It is so tasty. The cheesy, the little bit of spicy stuff in the background. Wow. This is just really, 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 really good. I can't wait to eat the whole thing. This worked out exceptionally well. It needed the salt. It just wasn't something, so I'm not big on salting, but this really needed it. It made a big, big difference. It really is good now. This is fantastic. You're going to love this. I would say, yes, you can modify it if you want, but I wouldn't. It's just really, really good. I'm FOODMAKER V. And remember, the best investment you'll ever make is an investment in your health. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.